Your mentor was murdered. Her sister was accused, and as a defense lawyer, you're meant to protect her. You have the killer on the stand. You almost have him. But you don't have enough evidence to prove it. As dread fills your body because of your failure, you hear her voice. Wait, what? You look to your side and you see your mentor. In her sister's body? And she proves that the man on the stand was her killer? The craziest part is that this is just the second case in the series. And this is just a tip of the iceberg. Welcome back to the show. My name is TK, and today we're covering a series that has quickly become one of my favorite gaming series ever. Ace Attorney. This isn't going to be a typical review, more so me rambling about my favorite parts of this series. By that, it means I won't be talking in length about the cases I didn't like, because that's not what I want to do here. I'd rather just mention them now. Cases 2-1, 2-3, 3-3, and 4-2 all suck and they were hard to sit through. But besides that, the rest of the games are fantastic. Final preface, I will not be covering Dual Destiny, Spirit of Justice, Investigations 2, and the Great Ace Attorney games, as I haven't played them yet, so it wouldn't be fair since I have nothing to say. This is going to be one of my longest videos, but oh well. And with all that out of the way, the courtroom is open, let's get started. Let's begin with Phoenix Wright himself. He's the protagonist of the series, and he's as witty and clever as you'd expect from a lawyer. So many iconic moments in the series come from his inner dialogue of him saying the most insane shit. He also has a lot of more tender moments with characters like Edgeworth, Maya, and later Trucy, but we'll delve more into that last relationship when we talk about Apollo's game. First case has nothing to note except you meet Larry, who, against all odds, is one of the most important characters in this trilogy. I'm being 100% serious. Second case is a bit more important since, it introduces Maya Fey, resident weird girl, and also kills our mentor Mia Fey. Yeah, that woman on the cover of the trilogy, she's dead in the second case, but somehow finds a way back in throughout the entire trilogy, so yeah, I guess she isn't gone entirely. The real juice of this game comes from the case 1-4. 1-4, or Turnabout Goodbyes, stands out because it was originally meant to be the final case of the entire series, as they weren't sure there would be a sequel, much less a franchise. And you can really tell. So much of this case feels like the game coming full circle with itself. Wright defending Edgeworth against Manfred von Karma after the entire game of these two duking it out. And my god, Manfred von Karma. He was the mentor of Miles Edgeworth, and the epitome of a righteous asshole. He literally fucking tases us when we start to uncover the truth. All this makes the moment when we beat him all the more satisfying. Especially since he was the one who murdered Edgeworth's father, the event that caused this trial in the first place. I haven't mentioned Edgeworth yet, have I? He's great. He's an old friend of Phoenix and a great rival throughout the game. And it's in this case where we see just how much Phoenix actually means to Edgy, as the day he defended him in class changed both of their lives forever. It's a phenomenal case with many iconic moments that are staples in this franchise and is a fan favorite even over 20 years later. I mean hell, we cross-examine a bloody parrot, come on man. And this would just be the beginning of something brilliant. But before we get to the second game, The remaster's added in a new case called Rise from the Ashes, which is one interesting case. It's good, don't get me wrong, but man, it's long. Did introduce Emma Skye, who I will talk about more in the Apollo segment because I have a lot to say about her. Damon Gant was a fun antagonist and provided an intense final trial, and it gave the ever-hilarious, intellectually attractive line, which, God I love you, Emma. I do miss Maya though. Good thing she hasn't gone for too long. Alright, this will be the weirdest segment of the video, considering this game is pretty weak, so I'm also talking about one character and then one or two cases. So let me ramble about the gameplay a bit, as it's rather simple. While mostly in a visual novel style, there are investigations where you point and click in environments, talk to people, and overall find clues to debate the prosecutor of the game in the trials. We'll hear a testimony from the witness, and we'll either press the statements or object with our evidence to prove our client's innocent, except for that one time, which we'll get to in just a second. Okay, yay! Maya is back. I missed her so much. Franziska von Karma. Yes, the daughter of that Manfred von Karma. And she's just as interesting as you'd expect. Franziska became a prosecutor at the age of 13 years old, constantly in the shadow of her father and later her brother Edgeworth. Yes, they're siblings, it's the most obvious thing. Why is this even a debate? It's like Apollo intrudes. I'm getting way too ahead of myself, sorry. She endured her father's abuse for years to become the best prosecutor she could, just so she can beat Edgeworth. And just when she finally goes to challenge him, he chooses death, shocking her and Phoenix. Of course he isn't actually dead, and Phoenix battles her instead. And the only good thing to come out of Turnabout Turnabout Big Top is the scene of Franziska confronting Phoenix and Maya, and we get to understand her a bit more. We also get the legendary "he was like a baby brother to me" line, when she is dead as 7 years younger than him. Never changed, Queen. I also love her and Gumshoe, something that we get expanded on a bit more in investigations. Now let's talk about the two cases that actually matter, and only really one of them is that good. Sorry, but 2-2 is only memorable in that it introduces the adorable Pearl Fey, cousin to Maya and Mia, and Satan's disciple Morgan fucking Fey. This wench has a special realm in hell just for her, right next to Frieza. A horrible mother who only cares about obtaining the power in her village, even if it means using her own bloody daughter to kill her niece in Bridge to the Turnabout. Like, people talk about Dahlia being despicable, but my god, this woman is pure evil! Anyway, time for the one really good case in this game. 2-4. Of all the final cases, this is the most interesting one, mainly in a few aspects. Maya is kidnapped, which is par for the course for our favorite spirit medium. We're contacted by her kidnapper, who is a famous killer, and he says that our client must be proven innocent or Maya dies. Franziska is shot, Edgeworth comes back, and the biggest surprise of all, Matt Ungard, our client, is actually guilty. He's the legit killer. Talk about a twist. And we have to defend him, even though the only words we get to hear from Maya are to make sure you get a guilty verdict or I will never forgive you. Which, by the way, in the final trial, if you do say Matt is innocent, you get the bad ending, where Phoenix never sees Maya again and never steps foot in another courtroom either. But of course, when you prove to Shelley the killer that Matt has broken his trust, Matt's best outcome is to be proven guilty. Maya is set free, and you get to the most satisfying moment in the game, as it's the only time our client was the killer and we get to expose him as such. We couldn't have done it without the help of Franziska though, who comes through in the end. Something I want to mention here is I love how in every Ace Attorney game I've played so far, the prosecutor always helps in the final case. Edgeworth helped us against Gant, Franziska and Edgy helped us against Matt to save Maya, Godot, Edgy, and Franziska were helping in Bridge. Clavier helped Apollo beat Kristoff. But with this game out of the way, it's time for the peak of the franchise. Most of this segment will be about Bridge to the Turnabout, but let me mention the two Mia Fey flashback cases because they're quite the surprise. The starter case being Mia defending a younger Phoenix was fun, especially when you learn he's just as stupid as he currently is. But the big deal is meeting Dahlia Hawthorne, who will become a very important character in this game. The second Mia Fey case is the more interesting one, as we learn more about Dahlia and how twisted she is. This being Mia's first case is so important because it causes so much psychological damage for her going forward. Not only did her first client die on the stand due to Dahlia, but it's because of this case that Dahlia locked her sights on Mia's boyfriend Diego, someone she would poison and kill later on. Incredible flashback cases that give Mia the much needed depth she deserved, while cluing us in to the real villain of this game and a hint to the backstory of another character. I've waited long enough, it's time to talk about my favorite case in this entire franchise, Bridge to the Turnabout. In my opinion, the greatest case this series has to offer, but I've heard the finale of The Great Ace Attorney 2 gives it a run for its money. There's so much I could gush about with this finale, but to start with, Phoenix seeing a girl who looks like Dahlia, his old girlfriend, so he goes after her. Great stuff. First bit is also rather calm. Maya's going to be trained, while Pearl will be with Elise Dianixum. I don't know how to say her name, so I'm just going to call her Elise, who is very important. We also see the return of Larry, another very important character in this case. Everything takes a turn for the worse though when the night comes. A lot happens, so let's return to an old bit for a sec and run down what occurs. Iris has psyche locks when asked who she is. Elise is found dead, stabbed. Bridge connecting to the main temple and the training temple, where Maya is, catches fire, effectively trapping her there. Pearl goes missing. Then Phoenix tries to run across the bridge to save Maya, only for the bridge to give out and him to fall into the river below. Yeah, what an opening. And it's just getting started. With Phoenix is out of commission, he enlists none other than Miles Edgeworth to take his place for the day. As Iris is arrested and suspected as the killer, this leads to one of the best moments in the case. Edgeworth vs. Francisca. A hilarious trial while also being a nice lens into what an alternate universe where Edgeworth remained as a defense lawyer is. Edgeworth and Francisca have a great dynamic, something that's expanded on in Investigations, so it's great to see the start of it here. During this trial, Larry shows off his art piece as he drew as the bridge burned and as someone flew? This completely throws everything out of whack, and I told you Larry would be important. Now Phoenix is back and the investigation begins. Francisco becomes our sidekick for a bit, which is fun, as Godot finally shows up. Oh right, Godot. All the prosecutors are great. Godot has a soft spot for me, that I'll get into a bit later. For now all I'll say is whenever that magnificent jazz tune comes in, God I'm in heaven. As it turns out, Elise is Misty Fey, Maya and Mia's long-lost mother who disappeared after the infamous DL6 incident that was mentioned in the first game. And now one of the most insane set of reveals. Dahlia and Iris are twins, that was kind of obvious, but they're the daughters of Morgan fucking Fey, who will find out she planned out to have her adorable daughter Pearl kill Misty and Maya with Dahlia in her body just so Pearl can be named head of the clan. What a fucking bitch. The training room where Maya is sealed tight, so as the night goes by and the trial goes on, it's Francisca who's chipping away and trying to save Maya. The trial is where everything comes full circle. Buckle in. Iris is on the stand, and with writing written in blood, accuses Maya as the killer, which is a shock to everyone. Except that, this woman on the stand isn't Iris. It's Dahlia Hawthorne, in Pearl's body. And my god, does everything shift. Dahlia did this not to help her mother, but to spite Mia for ending her life, by taking away her precious little sister. Dahlia recounts how she went to kill Maya while in Misty's body, but when she went to take her life, she was stabbed herself, accusing Maya of doing so, meaning Maya would definitely be the one who killed Misty Faye. The prospect of Maya still being missing even after Francisca's search, it's believed she killed herself after killing her mother. That is until Godot tells us that can't be true due to the rocks jutting out. Dahlia believes Pearl is channeling herself, but she isn't. It's a Maya. Mia comes back for the final time in Pearl's body to explain how she told Maya to channel Dahlia to protect herself, and now it's time for Dahlia's final verdict. As Phoenix and Mia lay into Dahlia, her failures haunt her as she basically gets exercised in the courtroom, in one of the most haunting scenes in the entire series. Maya is freed, and now they must solve who killed Misty, to which Maya has a startling revelation, something she struggled to admit, considering who Godot really is. She says she saw bright red lights behind her mother, and once the lights are turned off, well, we know where this ends. The killer could also not see red, something Godot was proven to not be able to see too. Godot reprimands Phoenix on if he can finish this, as he still blames Wright for Mia's death. If it wasn't already obvious, Godot is Diego, and the reason he can't see red is because of the poison Dahlia gave him, and it's also why he wears a visor. After the most satisfying objection point, with Phoenix and the ghost of Mia like it's the father-son Kamehameha, the door is shut. Godot killed Misty to save Maya, the last remnant of the woman he loved. I love Godot because he's a case study of what guilt can do to someone. It makes you resent someone who ended up not really being at fault, and by the end he just wanted to protect Mia's sister. It hurt to point the finger at Godot because he did the right thing, but poor circumstance was his downfall, just like it was for Diego. The case wraps up with everyone together for one last hurrah. As if it wasn't for every single person here, Maya would be dead, and the case would have been lost. This was not just the perfect way to end this game, but end this trilogy. It was the payoff of everything, from Turnabout Sisters onward, and my god did it succeed, and is easily the best case in the series. Apollo Justice is a bit of a hot topic, as it changes a lot, but I think just about every change was masterful. To start, this is easily the best starter case in the entire franchise. It's downright incredible how well it juggles introducing Apollo's character, showing off a new version of Phoenix, introducing Trucy, and beginning a mystery that would slowly unravel throughout the game. Defending Phoenix for the second time was a lot cooler since this time around he's an entirely different person, so you really don't know what to expect. And the reveal of Kristoff was just mwah. You can't do a better first case, which only gets better when you get to the final case of the game. More on that in a bit. I just want to say real quick that Turnabout Serenade is a fun case and you lot are so wrong. And it's pretty important considering it's about Apollo and Trucy's real mother Lemire. Before I delve into the last case of the game, I want to talk about some characters first. Apollo and Clavier are fun. They're not my favorites, but I enjoy them. I especially love Clavier's relationship with Emma. Trucy, Wright, oh how I love you. You adorable, magic-loving cinnamon roll. Notice how everyone in the game loves her? That's because she's objectively amazing, and if you hate her, I hate you. She's a brilliant foil to her brother Apollo. Sorry, I just want to make it apparent, so all the shippers can cut it, because this game is almost 20 years old now, and they directly say that they are siblings. Trucy's relationship with Phoenix is also pretty goddamn adorable. While some see it as him being a bad father, most don't realize Phoenix literally adopted a kid after her father disappeared mid-court case, while also losing his law license. Yet he still showed her all the love and attention she needed. Final character I want to mention before the finale is someone who kinda became my mascot, a character that acts like me in a lot of ways and just screams me to my friends, and her name is Emma Sky. I liked Emma in Rise, but it's in Apollo where she really shines. She's basically the new Gumshoe, and she's just hilarious, constantly butting heads with Apollo and especially Clavier. I swear her and Clavier were exes or are dating, because just see how they act, there's no way. I love them though. I love her so much, and I'm so glad she's here. Now on to the final case. Phoenix says he has some work to do, a part of his plan he's been devising for the past 7 years. We learn about the case that lost Phoenix's license, how he submitted fake evidence, and how the victim of the very first case of this game was Trucy's real father. Apollo goes through his case as we learn a bit more about the new jury system, and we start to come to the realization that Christoph Gavin might be pulling the strings again. After Vera, the accused, is poisoned, we only have so much time, and Clavier begins to realize himself what his brother has done. Christoph not only orchestrated the events of this case, but also the first case, and even was the one who tricked Phoenix in submitting fake evidence. All this makes Christoph literally the most interesting character in this entire game that was just begging to be expanded on. Too bad none of the sequels did that. After a FNAF jump scare where everyone turns and faces us, Phoenix talks to us and reveals that not only were we one of the jury watching the case unfold, but we're actually Lemire herself, and we're given the option on if Vera is guilty or not. Obviously she wasn't, but if you say she was, this is the second bad ending in the series, and she straight up dies from the poison. The game ends with Lemire just not wanting to tell either Apollo or Trucy as the brother and sister, which is apparently never expanded on in the later games. Kind of a sour note to end on, but even still, Apollo's game is genuinely fantastic, and the people saying it's bad or that Phoenix is a character assassination are why we got Dual Destinies in the first place. This game took risks by bringing in new characters and progressing old ones, and at least to me, they pulled it off pretty damn well. And I mean, hey, if 2-2 didn't exist, I'd call this a perfect game. Also, I'm sorry, I'm all for Phoenix being gay because I love him with Edgeworth, but Phoenix and Christoph just no. Now if you noticed, there's one important character I've neglected to talk about all video, and that's because I saved an entire segment for her. To end this video, I'd like to talk about my favorite character in all of Ace Attorney, and why. Of all characters, why Maya, you might be asking. You know, when I first started, I loved her because she was silly. She was quirky and weird. She loved burgers, made stupid jokes, bounced off Phoenix perfectly, and always made me smile when she was on screen. It actually made me sad when in the second and third games they would sideline her, because I love her that much. But at that point it wasn't because she was the silly weird girl. It was more than that. Maya Fey is one of the best written characters in this series. She may seem stupid, but she's incredibly smart when it counts. And to put it simply, she's the glue that keeps everything together. The whole trilogy is kinda carried by her and her connections. She's a character that's been through so much at the age of 19. Her mother disappeared at a young age, forced to learn channeling techniques after her older sister left the village, and then her older sister died, to only then be accused of killing her, then kidnapped later, and then accused of killing. She's been through so much. Luckily, she makes friends with Phoenix, Gumshoe, Edgeworth, and later Francisca. But by the final case, well, chaos ensues. She watches Godot, her older sister's boyfriend, kill her very own mother, who she just saw again after so long. Then, after being trapped with Dolly on her body, she's forced to testify and convict Godot of what he's done, come to terms that her mother is truly gone. With that, it means she also must become the head of the village, again at only 19 years old. Yet through all the times of being arrested, through all the death and pain she's experienced, she still remained strong, remained her bubbly and fun self for all of those that she loved. No matter how much pain she held in, Maya goes through probably the most growth out of any character, but it's in such a more subtle way. Sure, at first, I loved her because she was weird, but as time went on, Maya's character flourished, and she became my favorite character in this entire series. I meant to talk about investigations, but this video has ran so long. I really love Ace Attorney, dude. It was a series I barely knew about and gave even less of a damn about a year ago, and I can't even thank my best friend enough for forcing this series down my throat. Without it, I wouldn't have met some of my favorite characters in gaming. The story's so charming and engaging, the payoff of everything so worth the hours of reading, in a world full of characters, and locales spanning from Great Britain from a century ago to Japanifornia. If you've been on the fence on playing this wonderful series of games, I hereby raise an objection to tell you to put your ways aside and just give it a try. There's something here for everyone, as no matter how niche this franchise is, it'll continue to capture the hearts of those who play it. Ace Attorney is simply brilliant. There's not much else to it. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. I'll be making a part 2 on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And hopefully by then we'll have a new game like Ace Attorney 7 or the Great Ace Attorney 3. Yeah, right. There is no Half-Life 3, there is no Persona 6, and there is no Ace Attorney 7.